Bonjour, this is Morten from English TV, and we are here today with our wonderful guest Marina from Los Angeles and Adrienne from Chicago. Mark, I mean, it's some good guests we have today, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Day two, here we go.
Yeah. And how are you guys? I mean, you're always at the trade shows, right?
Yes, I am. It's great to be back. It's been very busy. I've been here since Sunday. We had a full day, media day on Monday, and then day one yesterday, day two today. Just happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're always welcome. And Marina, we didn't know each other until just a few days ago, basically.
Yes.
Right? And I think it was wonderful just also to see your website and your company in Los Angeles. Maybe tell a little bit what you do.
Oh, Lithographix is a full-service commercial printing company. And it's really funny because the definition of a commercial printing company here in the show is a little different from how we live life. So
interesting.
Yes. And I think this is true for a lot of the companies in the Southern California area, or maybe even California, but we do grand format, digital, large format, and I'm talking 84-inch KBA, sheet fed, web, creative, so
it's actually a little bit broader definition in when you talk about commercial print.
Mail.
Yeah. Oh, also amazing. Okay.
Yes,
yeah.
the whole thing, the soup to nuts.
Your definition of one-stop shop.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
And it's funny because when I saw your website, I compliment you. Said, "Oh, but it's old. We're doing a new one." And aren't we all doing new websites all the time?
all the time.
It's this month, actually.
Your company's been on my radar for quite a long time. So,
Oh, really?
yeah. How old is Lithographix now?
Well, Lithographix was bought by Herb Zebrack in 1953.
Okay.
And Herb is 92 years old. And he's still coming to work 4 days a week. So, and he's amazing. He is really remarkable. So in 1953, Herb's vision was just to be the best printing company. And
It's not a bad vision, right?
It's not bad at all.
And back then, what were they doing? Like, it was probably even predating 40-inch sheet fed, right? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
would
not that
imagine.
old, so, and I haven't drilled down. But I know that it was sheet fed and then web. And at one time they had 8 web presses, I think.
Oh, I mean, that's a huge one. Then.
Yeah, so.
and now you're doing all this stuff.
So it's kind of all that real estate that I'm assuming belonged to the web presses, because it's a big building, 200,000 square feet, is now large format.
Okay.
And it's kind of the perfect transition because you need so much room to do large format.
It's funny because I met Adrienne at EFI Connect just when it changed the name here in Las Vegas to EPS Connect, and we were on stage together. And I mean, I think that I told you that before, but I think that you're one of the smartest people in the industry. So, and now. It was like then you changed to DTF, and I think it came as a surprise to a lot of us, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what DTF is.
To a surprise to me as well. So actually, I was in the wide format space. I was the editor-in-chief of Big Picture magazine.
I thought so.
Yeah, I worked for that brand for almost 11 years, and also worked for Screen Printing magazine. Was the editor-in-chief there for 4 or 5 years, and then last year, an opportunity came up to basically, launch a digital media company in the direct-to-film printing space. And so I just decided to jump into that, and it's been a really exciting year. A year ago, well, Printing United was in October last year, so almost a year ago today, I launched the day before Printing United in Atlanta, DTF Printing. And so, yeah, all in website, newsletter, podcast for the direct-to-film space.
That's where I know you from now. It's Big Picture. I think I actually wrote an article for you a few years back.
Probably.
See, that's the curse of freelancers. You find them everywhere, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, but I'm so happy to be here at Printing United because I get the best of both worlds. I get to see my wide format friends, and then just dive right into apparel, which seems like DTF is all the rage over in the apparel zone. So it's exciting.
Yeah. I'm just thinking because when we talk about the DTF space and we look at dtfprint.com, I was also thinking that as far as I remember, your mission statement is also about education, right? Because I mean, your owner is a little bit like, it's not like a normal publisher, right?
Exactly, yeah. So Andy McDaniel, he owns DTF Superstore, which is a supplier in the space. And when he reached out to me, he's like, there's not enough education in direct-to-film. It's new, it's growing so fast. No one really knows how to handle this. And there's not a screen printing magazine or a big picture magazine. And I was like, okay, great. But I really don't want to do a magazine. I'm kind of burnt out on the deadlines. And, I just really
Don't say that. We're just beginning in this one.
But for me, almost doing that, a decade plus, it was time. And doing 2 magazines at once was a lot. that. So I was like, yes, I'm all in, because for me, like, I love connecting people and I love helping people grow their businesses. So to be just an education resource, especially in this new, age of this technology, has been really fun. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity to just push education and just be that resource.
So Adrienne, like, you're still learning this business, obviously, because you've only been in this space for like a year, right? So when I walked, I told Morten, when I walked into the South Hall yesterday, and I mean, it's massive, right? And it's like, it's a totally different world, right? So like, tell us what's going on over there.
Yeah, I mean, I've only even been over there a few times. We have a booth here, I have meetings. It's so, like, these shows are so crazy. You're just running from one end to the other. But everyone is saying that it's all DTF, and you're going to, what technically would be, you consider wide format. So the Makis, Roland's, Epson, they all have DTF printers. And so that is kind of fun. My background in the wide format digital side, I know actually more about this technology than I thought I would, because when I went into Screen Printing magazine, I didn't know anything about screen printing. I mean, I'd watch them set up screens and all. I was just like, I don't understand this world at all. But now it's like this mix, which is really cool. But I've been telling people who are true screen printers and, apparel decoration, you should talk to wide format printers, because they're having so many maintenance issues, tech issues. You should really lean into that side of the space, especially for software and RIPs. Like, you're going to learn a lot from wide format.
So Marina, I mean, when you talked about your company with all the, let's say, the offerings that you provide, what about DTF and textile? Is that something that could be interesting to enter into, or?
I'm very interested, especially when I look at the projections for the shrink in sheet fed.
Yeah.
It's like, you have to grow your company, you have to fill that gap. So looking at all opportunities. Here, I think, so I went to print in Chicago many, many years, went to Drupa. In fact, that's where I met Andreas, our mutual friend. And what's so exciting about this show is the variety.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I mean, also when you see the applications, that's one thing, we have all the techniques, right? But when you see the application both here and in South Hall, it is simply amazing what you can do, which all are kind of print related, right? Which is just amazing, right? I can tell you that one of the reasons why I wanted to have Adrienne here, now I said to you that you're one of the smartest people I know. Wow. So why try to put a DTF space on English when we don't have the knowledge of you, right? So we're starting, I think we will start a good collaboration, having exchange of maybe content, maybe do something for each other to see if we can grow that relationship. So I'm very excited about that, honestly. So that's great. I was just curious, because now we have second day here at Printing United. So have you guys had time to see anything that was like, whoa?
I was at the Epson booth yesterday, and they actually have, they're launching it more in 2025, but they have it on the show floor, an actual roll-to-roll DTF printer. Before they were really like, I was like waiting for them to kind of move into that. So that was the I guess, newest thing that I had seen, and I was excited to see that, because again, I think more wide format manufacturers will be entering this DTF space, and wide format print service providers will be entering, because you already are that one-stop shop. And just to add apparel in some way, and adding DTF, there are many ways to do that. You don't have to bring equipment in-house, you can outsource, and so maybe that's something that you could consider too, finding a great vendor to outsource.
Is it an endless growing market? Because I mean, at the same time, we talk about that in the Western world, that we basically consume too much clothing, right? And of course, there's let's say a move from having the mass-produced clothing in the third world, where it is very environmentally very unhealthy labor conditions, but that also takes, away money from the poorest people in the world. So I mean, do you see that as an endless growing potential, or is it just moving from, let's say, the analog processes to the DTF space? Or
yeah, I mean, all of that is definitely a concern, and more of a concern in Europe than here in the United States. It's like going to FESPA, you have much more conversations about sustainability and that. But yeah, I mean, fast fashion is definitely still a thing. I don't think that's going away. We all wear clothes every single day. I mean, there should be a push to wearing a shirt for a longer time, which actually DTF is great for, because the washability, there is more washability in DTF than maybe like a regular screen printed shirt. So that's a step toward that.
I went to a print on demand seminar yesterday, and one of the intriguing things that occurred to me during that was that with print on demand and DTG and DTF, you really have the opportunity to customize to your client. So buyer, in a way, is getting exactly what they want.
I can tell you that Chica, our filmer, and I, we got from Ultimate Tech yesterday. We got the Ultimate Morten and the Ultimate Chica T-shirts.
Nice.
So we get that the variable data can make extreme short runs of these kind of things. So you're right, the personalization.
You can get the singles, singles. And
Morten needs a whole new dresser just for all his T-shirts.
I can tell you it's kind of funny because we don't have advertising on our channel. So with my big stature, I made a profile of myself as a silhouette. And then I said, the only way you can get advertising on Inkish is by sending a branded T-shirt to me. I got more than 100.
Oh my goodness.
wow.
Yeah. So I was like, okay.
surprised.
So it was a little bit funny because then I had to wear one of these when I was doing my social media kind of things. And it became a thing. And, then people started to compete a little bit on my make. So I got a very strange from Leonard Kurtz, the metallization company, right? So I got one that was like with silver and everything like that. And then I used it when I was walking through the security of the airport, and the security people said, it's the first time we have ever had anybody passing through security with a silver on the T-shirt that was not blinging out, right?
really?
So that became an additional, a little bit kind of advertising space for Kurtz, right?
Well,
So that was,
T-shirts are walking billboards.
yeah. So
yeah.
that was very funny. I think I have to stop now because I'm a little bit sick and tired of getting. I can tell you, I got one. A company just cut out some textile, a very heavy fume of UV and things like that, and they just stapled it together for fun.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't wear that one.
It is funny. We're passing out DTF printing shirts at our booth, and it's like, you say that to apparel decorators. Do they really need another shirt?
No.
But it is fun. They're like, okay, I'm going to test this DTF. I'm going to wash it and try it out. But as you mentioned, the personalization and customization, DTF allows for short runs, which with screen printing, you have that minimum order quantity, and you're having to say no to customers or outsource. And with DTF, you can have that one shirt or even a prototype. So there's a lot of versatility.
I think the shift that's happened to the long tail, and it's just trickling down to everything. So first we saw it in retail, right? And that's why Amazon can be Amazon, is because of the long tail, selling just a few of these units to the people who want them. But that is really happening, I think, in graphics, where you can do 2 books, you can do 2 shirts, or 3. It doesn't matter. And there's an audience for that, there's a market for that, and that's, to me, is super exciting.
It's funny you mentioned that because, I can't help think about because, I guess that we know Chris Anderson and the long tail and also the future of a radical price as like 2 very important part of this. And I think that everything that can be digitized will be digitized, and the long tail is basically a very good example of that. And when you see this growth, for example, in printed books right now, it is quite interesting because you can make, let's say, the Amazon effect of the long tail. And I got a book in birthday present just a couple of months ago, and that was I could see it was a scan of an old book that was now digital printed, right? And then I realized, okay, this is simply because the length and the original material doesn't exist anymore. So it gives you so many new opportunities in that space that I just think is super amazing. And you're right, it goes into everything, right? From magazines to apparel to anything, basically.
If you look at the mass production of like the 1950s, right? So we had this explosion in capabilities and everything got faster and better and bigger, but there was more of the same. Like everyone's got the same everything, the same cars, the same houses, the same suit, the same haircut. And we're just getting into this detailed of expression and communication that I think it's going to be really exciting to see the 5 generations out that come out of this explosion of detail.
And I did want to say with the sustainability factor, with that print on demand, instead of having to have an event and you order 100 shirts and only 20 people show up, and what are you going to do, with the excess? Now you can have an online store where you're just purchasing exactly what you need, they're printing exactly what you need, and that's it. There's not, warehouses filled with boxes that are never going to be used again, which I think is important.
So, I know we're all busy, so I just want to thank you very much for being part of our Bonjour here, second day at Printing United. It's been a real pleasure meeting you both. So have a wonderful day.
And thank you for the invitation.
No, I think it was
very fun to be here.
Okay, great.
And great meeting you.
Yeah, great meeting you too.
Okay, bye-bye. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Yeah.